way of set pieces so far. And with for 24 minutes gone at play, to intrigue the assembled throng, even though the scoreline remains blank.
It's good pressure. Lost opportunity to Terrell Thomas as well. He's got that in his block, but late goal, of course, he's had it last season, through finals for Wimbledon. Celebrations in the camp blowing as was at the time, so seen that from centre backs. We saw it, of course, with Ben Hennigan on Saturday. Get your centre backs to attack the ball and get yourself a goal in those situations.
Arsenal come forward once again. They forced another corner from their left-hand side. It's only one interesting aspect this evening for those of you who used to be au fait with the Arsenal first team setup is Gabriel Martinelli, who's the most lauded, perhaps, of their players who's participating this evening, and he's certainly cropping up all over the kind of front line as well. He's not playing seemingly in a fixed position. He's just kind of floating around, going up on the right and then the left, and just trying to get the play together. And so far, a decent performance. The Dons clear the corner from Arsenal. Now maybe a bit of a chance to spring forward down the right-hand side. Play then towards Steve Singer up this week, just actually too far ahead of him. McLaughlin who delivered the ball in. We retrieved on this near side by Ossiu for the Dogs. Back goes now to Thomas. He's inside the Arsenal half. Here's Riley. And he's Seddon now on that far side. Trying to take on Lopez, works onto the left foot, low ball into the centre. Easily intercepted for Arsenal by Saliba. It's Akinola, the way inside the Arsenal half. Here's Aziz. Once again, front of challenge and illegally so by Callum Riley. So Arsenal will have themselves a free kick midway inside their own half. Still goalless with very nearly 26 on the clock. Sergio trying to play the ball into the Don's penalty area, which he does, but it was too far ahead of Nicholas Moller. Bounced all the way through to Nick Zanev. Now for Chisler, tries to move away from Sokratis, and Chisler's deemed to be fouled by a combination of the international centre half, and I think Jim Akinola was in the mix as well. So, free kick opportunity once again to the Dons.
Spot on, it's just the final result there. Let's look at the end of that now. His body's into the box. So the box of Palmer getting there and challenge as well. Eyes up there. Right. So, tap the ball on this one. The delivery should be probably good from Chisler. Riley's there as well.
Riley, Chisler moves away to right into the 6-yard box. Thank you. But it's queuing up for the Dons. Goodness me. None of the way was get the decisive touch in the end. It's fisted clear by Carl Heim, but the offside flag had been brandished by the Chisler on the far side. But there was plenty of big guns forward there. It was a wonderfully delivered and wonderfully flighted out-swinging a set piece there from Callum Riley, delivered it right into that perfect zone, right behind the Arsenal back line, ahead of the keeper, with Don's players plenty on rushing. But frustratingly, none of them could get the decisive touch. Side flag as well for the assistant too, so ultimately the set piece coming to nothing for the Dons, but certainly very well worked. Another good example of how not all about just sitting around and watching the Dons, the Arsenal youngsters, rather just bringing it around and giving a display akin to the Brazilian team giving that airport performance in that commercial many moons ago. Dons certainly with plenty to say here this evening. But their eyes very much, as you mentioned, Rob, on a place in the last 16 of the public jobs trophy.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, as well, it's prize money for the club too. It's difficult times if they can make progress here. So to play Decent moments, throwing to the Dons over on that far side. Now, to the Dons captain Nightingale, over to Terrell Thomas. So Bossing support the wing. Takes it on now, tries to put it down the line. Chislett, but play goes in for a throw for Arsenal.
29 minutes gone then. Here at Plough Lane, still the Dons nil. Arsenal nil in this last 32. Trophy time, of course, it was Arsenal who draws the home side. Of course, it was the Dons who finished second in the Southern Group G behind Leighton Orient, which ordinarily would have meant an away tie at this particular stage of the competition. But I think rather than having to travel up to, I think it would have been Port or something like that. Arsenal with that special dispensation to play their ties away from their own designated headquarters. So the centre circle, I think you know that. It's Sergio. So steps Chislett moves forward towards centre field, which is where now for Aziz. Lopez on the far side of a bit of space. So I was able to take on 7. Still Lopez making good ground. Skips past the challenge of Chislett. Still Lopez ultimately caught up by 7. Lopez once again in centre field. This time challenged by Alan Riley. And the Dons will try and bring it away through Steve Seddon. But again, Arsenal were determined in the challenge. Come away with it once more through Nicholas Muller. That's moving for Martinelli. Gives it over into the 6-yard box. Goodness me. It was very nearly a chance for Catalan Serjan, but well watched and well gathered by Nick Sennett, just ahead of the on-rushing Arsenal man.
So they really found a way through the open play there, Arsenal. So really like
that. Lopez just for quite a while. Absolutely, taken away by Callum Riley, I think it was. But then, no. I don't know if Gabriel Martinelli is a real box of tricks for Arsenal in that type of situation. Great close control, great vigilance. Again, threaded it on perfectly, almost perfectly for Catalan Serjan. Again, just practically too far ahead of his colleague and back to the Dons. Challenge is in close attendance to against an attempt at goal.
there's a lot of build up on both sides. They're still really good at this game. A chance there for Arsenal, though.
Biosu moving forward down the right hand side for Arsenal right now to the captain Ben Kocher. Sokratis. Kocher once again. Muller. Biosu once more. Still Arsenal in possession down the near side, but it's run out of play by Sergio. Again with the talent of Biosu there, so throwing this time to the Dons. Nightingale to examine. Screech of some emergency vehicle sirens punctuate the dark, cold South London skyline. Still the goalless between the Dons and Arsenal. Just really back to maybe reminisce upon the 28 league meetings we had with Arsenal between 1987 and 2000. 2 successive seasons we played them. Some great moments for the Dons amongst them. Others perhaps not so good. Hit for 5 goals, I think, on 3 occasions. Victorious over the festive season at Plough Lane in 1987. Don't forget that with finish from Vinnie Jones, which led to mass celebrations in front of the North Stand dugout. And not forgetting, of course, the Dons went unbeaten away at Arsenal in the league between 3-0 defeat in September of 1987 and then a 5-0 April 1998. So over a decade unbeaten at Highbury. In fact, the only defeat at Highbury during that time was the semi-final against Chelsea. So all 28 of those matches. Down. That's the way it goes back these days. 87 Highbury Charlie Nicholas, 5.9 from the Czech judge showed. League history there between the two clubs, but in 2020, senior side, right, more than holding their own against the Arsenal Youths, still goalless with 34 minutes gone. There's a Roscoe down the left-hand side. Down the line for Terrell Thomas. Comes on the challenge from Cottrell. So they're very responsible for starting the Arsenal youth set structure back then in those days as well, and they're playing a big part with them as well. Terry Burt, of course, with those players towards the end of their career, of course, made their way towards Wimbledon with appearances, but Terry Burt playing a major role, I think. Absolutely. Let's not forget Don Howe, also a real colossus in Arsenal history, and of course, part of the Don's management team that oversaw, well, the greatest FA Cup final victory in Wembley history. It's probably called as well, in fact, for Arsenal. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Two connections between the sides, but the most legendary John Kay. Oh, yeah, that's up right back in the 80s, formerly of Arsenal. There's a few stories we've been told about by Mick Smith that we might know he's no like it. And so here come the Dons once again, marauding towards the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Roscoe was trying to bring it under control. Sokratis, though, it's clear. McLaughlin, though, were trying to steer it back forward, but Kalambayi was forward from the back, but ultimately Arsenal able to repel the Dons' forward machinations down. There's Moller inside the Arsenal half. Serjan will find that Cottrell now is Olivier Giroud. Goes to Sokratis, now is William Saliba. Forward for Arsenal, closed down well by McLaughlin, played on the outside now for Lopez, touched on down the line for Aziz. Again, Calabai, ball into the centre. Martinelli with a header that's very well saved from close range by Nick Tannen. It's going to be a corner to Arsenal, but that very nearly was the opening goal for the visitors. Ball went in perfectly to Gabriel Martinelli. It looked as though he'd stolen the march from the Dons defenders, and maybe slightly disappointed that he didn't manage to steer the header about either side of Nick Tannen. But credit to the Dons keeper. Didn't kind of go to ground, stood his ground and stayed tall, and ultimately just get something on it and smother it away. And now for the resulting corner, here he is very much the man in charge. But well, we've seen Martinelli this evening at the business end of chances as well as creative capacity, and again, not quite able to open the scores, but vital for the Dons that Nick Tannen was there to intercept. That's what we learn about this. I'm sure that the likes of Arteta will be keeping an eye on Martinelli and his progress, particularly Arsenal season at the moment as well, make the kind of investment. See something coming through, and even this is where they put to the test tonight. What will they do pitched into a competition like this, and what their attitude will be, and closer to open the scoring here, Mikey. So here comes Olivier Giroud. Let's get from the right hand side on the left foot is Martinelli. Got dragged back in, moving away from Ryan. He threw it back down to Aquino. The shot comes in then from Olivier Giroud, and it had Nick Tannen stretching away low down to his right, but the shots are always going past that left-hand post. It's a goal kick to the Dons, and well, there's passing and cohesion and movement throughout this Arsenal side, but also Olivier Giroud, who's been ostensibly a right-sided defender for Arsenal this evening, coming forward and showing that there was a decent bit of power there in his shooting boots, but not quite getting his bearings completely correct, and he went wide of the post. But again, another shot across the bows for the Dons, perhaps. The better opportunities in front of goal so far. They're starting to find that way. Still, all the defensive line is starting to test Nick Tannen as well, close in. So, at the moment, you have to say, possession as well, starting to find a way into that Wimbledon back line now. Jumps up to David Bounchin and joining us, and well, mate, Mike McVeigh, greetings to you, sir. So Arsenal comfortable again down the left-hand side, and surely a foul there by Z's, who got the better of Steve Setter, but illegally so. So a late free kick then the Dons in this first half, around 6.5 minutes remaining. Shout out to Mike Flaherty joining us this evening. Greetings to you, sir. Join us around the world for last 32 Papa John's Trophy, stuffed crust, Tuesday evening action. You're a clown, eh?
Extra cheese. Be cold, something warm, something.
Past the half-hour mark with no goals, so surely we should all get pounds.
Yes. Still deadlock to be broken here. Sense of possession, build up play from both sides, particularly Arsenal starting to put that way into that Wimbledon back line. Moment, it's half that's kind of feels longer than it. It's a long first half, isn't it, Michael? Basically,
It's dragging on the time, but certainly she would argue that Arsenal perhaps have embroidered the proceedings before that ability to work in kind of enclosed spaces, little tricks, little turns, little flicks. Certainly, you can see why Martinelli is such a hot prospect for the men from the Emirates. So far, despite a couple of decent opportunities, still goalless, but Arsenal come forward again now down the left-hand side. Goes down under a combined challenge of Riley and McLaughlin. Riley will try and steer the ball forward. Roscoe played forward for him to run onto, but no chance for him to outplace William Saliba. Easily got there first and steered it back to Carl Hine. So Saliba once again played forward now to Akinola. Martinelli dropping back into his own half and steering a first time pass back into the path of Sokratis. Akinola once again just about evaded the challenge of Roscoe. So it's towards the far side, and enough for the Seas. There's Lopez. Akinola once again. It's Sergio. Lopez once again moving down that left-hand side. Again, not making much headway against the well-drilled Dons' side. In the end, Arsenal forced to go back to halfway. Sokratis, Lebiosu, is Martinelli, and it's Cotram. To Martinelli once again, pulling the strings once more and delivering a decent pass over to the far side for Lopez. Cuts to the inside on the right foot, to the edge of the box. Picked on now for Sergio. No, and well blocked there by Will Nightingale. It's another quicksilver pass and move there for Arsenal. Once again, bypassing the Dons' defence, setting themselves up another decent opportunity. Not the first time we've seen the CB or Sergio looking to pull the trigger, but Will Nightingale was there and prevented that ball travelling any distance whatsoever. And again, Arsenal all flicks and tricks, but the Dons, when they needed to, were resolute in defence and a good bit of play there for the captain.
excellent work by the Dons captain to snuff that attempt out, but Arsenal coming again. More likely to open the scoring here at the moment, Michael.
3 minutes to go then to half time. Still the Dons nil, Arsenal nil, and goes back to a pre-season friendly against another similarly youthful Arsenal side. Some 10 years ago at the Cherry Red Record Stadium, James Shea, I think, was in goal for Arsenal. Benicatobe, of course, an established league striker, I think, was the man who scored their consolation goal that day. As Osu now delivers a ball into the centre. Deflection to the path of Palmer, couldn't quite turn away from his man. Back now with Chislett, tries up with a shot. Deflects off Sergio. And McLaughlin, through a real painful challenge just inside the D when we entered the area, stayed down. And he's back on his feet now, but certainly you could hear his yell, I think, from way up there in the commentary gantry. So Roscoe comes forward now for the Dons, plays it to Palmer. Ricochets back forward towards Roscoe, but it was Saliba who was there, and again the man in charge. So, yeah, just to get back to the game some 10 years ago, the Dons winning 2-1, but similar sort of display there, and Arsenal always with a great tradition of bringing through the youth players. Certainly, potential for them on display here this evening. He's probably the big of the bunch. Martinelli could be the ball over the top of the Dons' defence, but couldn't quite angle the pass as he would have wanted into the path of the on-rushing Nicholas Muller. And And then it was Cannon by so to shepherd that one back to Nick Zanev. Whilst Nightingale back to Zanev once again. Goes forward and arrived nicely into the feet of Chiswick. Now he's lost you down the left hand side, trying to bring the ball forward. And Olympic once again in the way, real battle royale between those two this particular evening. Chiswick though will pick it up to the dance midway inside of the Arsenal half. Back towards halfway, here's Terrell Thomas. Wesley high and forward away towards the far side. Seddon takes the ball on the glass, takes it beyond Lopez. Still Seddon on, but couldn't quite get the better of Saliba, who stood his ground. There was a real nonsense barrier there between Steve Seddon and potential attempts on goal, but it was very well taken on the burst there by Seddon. But now Arsenal springs straight up the other end with Martinelli. You can quite find Muller there in the centre. Good as far as Oshu on his near side, who goes to ground under challenge from Catalan Serjan. So a free kick to the Dons midway inside their own half. But well, with around a minute remaining, Steve Seddon, we all know what his buccaneering bursts like down the left-hand side, but deployed on the right here this evening. But I tell you what, Rob, no less dynamic, and was able to skip past one challenge there, but couldn't quite get the better of Saliba. But good sort of forward play there from Steve Seddon right to the end of the first half with 2 additional minutes left.
Yeah, we needed something there, I think, to liven it up. It's also something to dictate play a little bit more. Opportunities down the other end for them, finding the way behind that back line. So pretty much as big doors we'll be looking for at half time. We want to perhaps line up to test Arsenal a little bit more in the second half. Of course, you've got a strong bench as well for them tonight to turn to should they need to. They're looking to make progress in this competition.
Indeed. Of course, we have seen plenty of them going forward anyway so far this evening, but not just that. Vital finish forthcoming. The pass is misplaced as well. Safe still there for Carl High to make, but it's Arsenal at the other end who have carved out the majority of the opportunities and setting the more presentable ones. Nick Zanev having to make a couple of important saves to repair our Arsenal with Martinelli and the likes of Nicholas Muller also in the mix. Catalan Serjan also very nearly capitalising on a couple of decent balls played through to him. So the Dons, when the occasion has demanded it, they've stood their ground in defence and well in keeping the scoreline blank so far this evening.
So that's what I think people will take from, in particular, I think they can hold it through to half time here. Not that a bit of work they've done in terms of maintenance ahead of a big South London derby, of course, this Saturday.
So we've got around 21 seconds to go then of the announced stoppage time. Still the Dons 0-0. We'll have a radio WN with the Dons youth up-and-coming sensation Roberto Cornelito and Sokratis, still cousin of Mike T, appear in the commentary gantry. All that will verify. Here's a no chance now maybe for Seddon to burst down the right-hand side. And he's gone down under challenge by the back-checking Lopez. Interesting. Well, certainly a very contentious moment. We had Seddon with that real burst down the right-hand side just a few moments ago. We went past Lopez in the first instance, but then couldn't get past William Saliba. But this occasion, another similar setup with the ball angled high over towards that far side. Seddon at full pelt, getting there just ahead of Lopez. Both players going to ground. Certainly, even from this somewhat elevated and distant vantage point, certainly not unrealistic claim you had to say for a set piece there in favour of Steve Seddon. Paul Cannon-By also having referee as the half-time whistle has now gone. So certainly maybe want to look back on a later juncture. And certainly an instance of the Dons in the midst of maybe Arsenal starting to get into a real passing rhythm now and creating a succession of chances, at least offering something by way of riposte.
Football should bring us all together.
It's part of our national fabric and at the heart of our communities. We escape from reality.
We connect with others. And we celebrate and commiserate this one.
But for some, supporting the team is not easy.
They don't feel welcome or included. They must all do more to make the change.
Players, fans, managers, and staff
We must stand together.
as allies.
Lesbian, gay, bi, trans, or straight.
People of all orientation
And gender identities are part of the game.
Football is what brings us all together.
We must continue to support one another.
where rainbow mixes with pride.
And share our experiences and stories.
Because everyone is welcome here.
We're all part of what makes our game special.
So everyone must feel safe and included.
And we will agree.
We will change to ensure this happens.
In stadiums,
Online.
And in our communities.
So let's join together and celebrate our diversity. Let's unite and raise awareness. Because discrimination in any form will not
And cannot be accepted.
by anyone else
Not today.
or any day.
Following your heart, your spirit, your soul. You can tap it. So wherever you go, your path, wherever you are, you will be. From the feasibility to the last key. Victories, heartbreaks, you're part of the fabric, the passion, devotion, supercharging emotion. For you, there is only one. Finding loyalty, togetherness, and second to none. Follow every kick, every tackle, every goal. With access to live stream games and matchday commentary. The coverage spanning the globe. Behind-the-scenes content, newsletters, and match highlights. There's no better way for you to get closer to your club. And live phone sales support. There's no better way to show your love. You can't be there. Be there. Not follow.
Veterans Trophy. Veterans Trophy. Get your kicks with this real game changer. Want fun on flavors? You get a slice of the action. And be ready to smash it in like an absolute pro. Big moments just got even tastier. You game? Order now. Papa John's, official partner of the EFL. She's definitely left her mark on this game.
Really?
Football Harvest Trophies, proud partner of the EFL.
it's another Carabao fantastic meal. See, £7, 25-24 cans of our great tasting low-calorie energy drink. One's at £18.99, now only £11.99. That's less than 50p per can. Now includes free shipping. Visit carabaoenergy.co.uk to redeem the offer. Carabao. And life by the horns. The valid restaurants last.
You're not betting against that.
Championship doesn't stop for the last day.
Look at this. That's glorious.
That's a WWE as soon as you it's naughty.
It's outrageous.
Getting better and better is pretty honest for everybody.
First 10. Oh, he slotted it right in. Football on with Screwfix, proud partner of the EFL.
Papa John's Trophy. Get your kicks with this real game changer. Want full-on flavors? Then get a slice of the action. And be ready to smash it in like an absolute pro. Big moments just got even tastier. Your game? Order now. Papa John's, official partner of the EFL.
Quite powerful. Also, the perspective from said, welcome back to the second half for Dons against Arsenal. 0-0 the half-time score then in the last 32 of the season's Papa John's Trophy. Dons will be getting things underway then in the second half, attacking the south stand. It's the goal to our right as we look at it. As you'll see it on the live follow coverage if you're tuned in. Straight away, Arsenal is possessing the Dons and trying to come forward themselves down the left-hand side. Hugo Taylor Hart, looks like Arsenal made a substitution at half time. Number 78. It's the crossing ultimately though way beyond the Dons penalty area. It's going to go out for a throw in into the Dons. I think the plan was always to substitute Martinelli, I think, after either half time or maybe after an hour. So he's made way then Gabriel Martinelli after an impressive first half performance. To say it's number 78, Kilo Taylor Hart. Kido, I think, because I heard some use of teammates get out a couple of months ago. To 78 with 35 at half time. Still goalless though, with a minute gone in the second half. Big shout out to the Manchester Wombles, Graham, Johnny, and Lucy joining us. If you're enjoying the forecast and seeing Blondes pick their wits against the cream of the Premier League Academy sides, albeit in, as we mentioned earlier, Rob, circumstances which as Wimbledon fans certainly have a certain resistance to, but alas, the Dons left with no other option but to just get on with it and make the best of the situation.
Yeah, as we say, we're respectful of all supporters' views, of course, but point of view, which is victorious both sides. At the end of the competition, there is a day out of Wembley. It is important prize money as well to be had too. So they're looking at it from that perspective. The indication in terms of the side they put out there tonight, strong one as well. It's these Arsenal youngsters, players, I said in particular, the likes of Roscoe and Palmer up front, we're looking for that service to break the deadlock here, to try and make Wimbledon progress further in this competition.
Seems like as Steve said in that, perhaps that more unfamiliar right-sided berth for the Dons this evening. Lays the ball off now for Malmo's back for Kalabai, who's shanked that cross high and behind for a goal kick to Arsenal to be taken by Carl Hyde. It's gone then, Plan Lane. Dons nil, the Arsenal Utes nil. Arsenal now with one of the non-Utes, you have to say, Sokratis Papasadopoulos. Combines with Taylor Hart, and then just once again posing the heart of the Arsenal defence. Another player I think they've been trying to nurse back for a recent injury. So it's Olebiosu down the right hand side for us. Lopez now towards his left hand side. So Taylor Hart on the right hand side. Into his own half now for William Saliba, who came under a little bit of pressure there from Ollie Palmer, but was ultimately able to just regain his balance and find Sokratis, who's now warding off a challenge from Roscoe. Leviosa on the far side sees off Osu. Terrell Thomas doing ever so well to chase the Arsenal players back deep inside his own half there. We'll launch forward towards the Dons penalty area, but Salah will collect the ball just before the arrival on the scene of Kilo Taylor Hart. Down their right hand side, some misplaced pass, no real chance there for Ollie Palmer to bring the ball under control. It's a free kick to Arsenal. On the Joel Lopez, who of course had a really heavy challenge in that first half. So now thankfully back on his feet and seemingly fully operational once again. Again, that was frustrating. Trying to build up the play and some move. Sons of free kick down towards the centre field. Blocking and standing over the ball. It's about 15 or so yards inside the Arsenal half. Chilean happens to be Roberto Carlos, probably not much chance of a shot, and so it proves. Played short then by McLaughlin into the centre. It's Chisley who went into the centre. It was Calabai who went for it. So too did Roscoe, but offside. The adjudication of the assistant on this near side. Just for a moment there, it looks as though the Dons had stolen the march. Similar set piece situation as one that they created in the first half at the other end. But once again, the flag of the assistant is what comes the rescue of the Arsenal team. And they come forward again now themselves with Lopez tries to play it into the centre of the field, looking for Muller, but it's Nightingale who got in the way. Now Roscoe over on the far side. Charging forward, back on the outside now for Ossiu. Tries to take it around on Lebiosu, who never saw out. Caught Ossiu up and was able to intercept and alleviate any potential danger for his side. Saliba now for Arsenal, inside his own half. Nice little work. Drag back and turn away from Ollie Palmer, who saw into the Don's half. Now here's Aziz. It's on down the line for Taylor Hart against Callum Bay. Lopez once again. So we're good to go. Work goes down by 7 right now with Akinola. They go across into the centre circle for Sokratis. There's Muller laid off now for Cottrell. Lebiosu on the far side. Cottrell once again. Sokratis once more. Again, Arsenal biding their time, knocking the ball around to pick the killer pass. The joy so far this evening in terms of a goal, even though they did come close on a number of occasions in that first half. Dons have done what they needed to repel the men from the Emirates.
Trying to be a game we've had on Saturday as well. We had 5 first half goals. It's still goalless here as we're approaching the hour mark. Eventually, it's getting ever closer to at this stage as well. I feel that in open play, it's probably going to be only one goal that might settle it. We may be heading towards an additional solution, perhaps, to decide this tie tonight, Michael.
So Palmer now flicks the ball on towards Roscoe, the other end, towards the edge of the box, takes a shot, and it's taking a little deflection on the way through, and it's fairly straightforward to save for Carl Hein, but well worked there between Palmer and Roscoe. And now the Dons going forward again now with 7. Now Chislett, Ossiu on the overlap, across into the centre. Palmer goes in. Looking to move it down to the head of the opportunity, but Carl Hein once again very, very commanding in the Arsenal goal, prevents that being an opportunity for the Dons. Certainly that earlier chance for the Dons on that particular moment. It was the first time this evening, or maybe one of the rare instances where we've seen a good understanding there in Palmer and Roscoe. The flick on went perfectly into the path of Roscoe from Palmer. That was always going to be the key, wasn't it, Rob, this evening, to see how the two of them would work in tandem against certainly a very powerful and very experienced Arsenal backline. But certainly signs there that they will be able to contract something between the two of them before the night.
Yeah, instructions in the half time as well to do 2 more out there to try and test their Arsenal, as you said, particularly experienced. They have their it's tonight.
Here it's Plough Lane, still the Dons 0. Arsenal 0 in this last 32 tie in the Albert Johns Trophy. Far side. She's right, goes back to Riley, and then Thomas, his man, but in doing so, overran the ball and out of play. He threw in to Arsenal just to touch upon that central defensive partnership. Certainly, so William Saliba certainly didn't come cheap when he joined from St Etienne. Water transfer fee somewhere in the region of £27 million, which is not a considerable sum of money.
Stadiums for that.
So certainly a player who arrived with a good reputation and every bit to the equal in that respect, you would imagine, with Sokratis, who for the most part kept the Dons quiet. Just a very nonchalant kind of a reassurance about them. So keeping things pretty much watertight at the back. But Arsenal not yet managing to get back fully into the stride that maybe we saw towards the closing stage of the first half. Still seeing plenty of possession, but maybe again now without Martinelli, who was the instigator of a lot of the movements of trickery and some slides of foot we saw in that first half. So not to question the ability of the remaining Arsenal players on the field, but certainly Martinelli with a burgeoning reputation at the Emirates. It's a great goal he scored last year at Stamford Bridge for Arsenal. So the first team regular, just returning back from injury. It's the Dons now at the other end, ball into the centre. It's a downward header destined for that bottom left-hand corner from Rosgrove. The cross came in from Osu, but in the end, Hein ultimately able to scramble down to his right and grab that ball. It was well directed on target by Rosgrove. Not the easiest ball for him to deal with as it came in from Osu from the far side. Yeah, they went on to angle it goalwards, but without sufficient power. They got the direction to see it past Hein. Arsenal towards the other end with Olibiosu. Now Cottrell. Towards the near side. There's Lopez. Now it's Aziz. Saliba. There's Akinola inside the centre circle. Comes at the challenge and the pretty no nonsense one of that from Oli Palmer, but emerges unscathed and, more importantly, with the ball. Sokratis will find Saliba moving forward, back on the outside. To his left now from Lopez. Aziz once again moving in towards centre field, pursued by Seven. Set forward now into Moller, but it's Thomas who'll get it clear for the Dons. Forward now to Roscoe. Now Chislett will release Osu down that left hand side. And can pass now into the path of Palmer, tussling with Saliba, but it's the Arsenal man who not only wins out, but manages to steer it forward into the path of the Arsenal captain, Cottrell. Saliba once again, played on the outside, again to his left. Silence Guido at Taylor Hart brings the ball under control. And here's Lopez. Taylor Hart once again. Here's Aziz. Playing towards the edge of the box now. Of course, Serjan. And foul there on Riley. In the end, Arsenal couldn't quite play the killer pass or keep the move going. Result now in a free kick to the Dons. With 14 minutes gone in the second half. Still Arsenal free kick launched forward by Nick Sander towards Palmer. This occasion ruled to have been fouled by Saliba. Free kick then to the Dons. Chislett and Riley standing over the ball. Comes into the edge of the box, helped on by Nightingale. It's the left side of the 6-yard area. On the foul, I think they're given on Carl Hein. The onrushing Alan Rosgrove. Free kick then to Arsenal inside their 6-yard box. But once again, the Dons proving they do have the wherewithal to cause some kind of disquiet inside that Arsenal penalty area. Delivered some pretty decent set pieces in there throughout the duration of the evening. But again, that big money signing of William Saliba and with 90 caps for Greece, played the World Cup for them, of course. Sokratis, Papastathopoulos, for the most part, ensuring a fairly peaceful night for Arsenal. But of course, still time for the Dons to cover up other pickings, perhaps. So Aziz now tries to thread the ball down the inside left channel, looking for Taylor Hart, but The ideal pass played forward to him by Aziz. The Dons were able to intercept and clear. Forward for Ollie Palmer, flicked on towards Roscoe. It's Sokratis is there, turning it back to Carl Fine.
Now, it's still the lowest here as well at the moment. So they've really tested here so far this evening. Just Rose is a real credit to this one back line. As I said, trying to build upon it to develop that defensive cohesiveness. Still creating and having the possession, but goals yet.
So, not backwardly coming forward down that far side, but losing out in that tussle to Austin Taylor Hart, I think it was. So it's a throw into the Dons. Here's Riley moving forward from midway inside his own half, forward into the path of Chislett. Now here's Thomas, here's Nightingale. Coming clips it forward towards the near side. 7 as well, takes it on the chest. Has to move away from Lopez. Still 7, closed down well by Lopez. Back goes now to Kalambayi. Now there's Nightingale. Cross now to Thomas once again. Away towards our left touchline, tries to clip it down the line, loops up and onto the top of the east stand off of Ido Taylor Hart. Throwing it to the Dons. A lot about Sokratis this evening. He's had a lot of the ball for us in the last lap defence and very assuredly bringing ball forward and trigger off a few attacks for his side. A pretty formidable centre half for Joe we've seen this evening, but one little blot on his copybook when he was the first player to be sent off at Euro 2012 for 2 yellow cards. So it's not particularly fond memories of that competition. So far this evening, ensuring minimal joy for Mrs. Palmer and Roscoe and any other potential takers in yellow and blue, but with some 63 minutes gone now here at Glarney, they're still goalless. Certainly perhaps questions maybe about maybe Arsenal needing to convert some of the very promising and penetrative possession we've seen from them into maybe a goal here this evening. Again, Martinelli now has left the field at half time, so maybe a little bit of spark of creativity from them might be a little bit lacking in this second half. He was certainly the orchestrator of a lot of the flicks and balls into the Dons penalty area. Had a couple of chances himself as well with a header that he would certainly finish and scored. Nick Tanev somehow managed to effect away.
Changes are afoot in. I think Ryan Bond is going to make an entrance to this game. And seeing a better start to this second half. Seeing the way through on the Arsenal goal, and Longman has been in good form recently. Get out there and get into this Arsenal side. Of course, a little experience of playing at this kind of level, these kind of players as well. At 23's football, 21's football for Brighton. Some rookies I see is back doing a good job again for Brighton against Southampton. That's a good goal.
When we look at how the Dons have played so far this evening, they've done a reasonably good containing job on Arsenal at times, but certainly with wherewithal maybe with 1 or 2 changes to have some realistic chance of going on maybe to land the spoils here tonight. So no reason for the Dons to be intimidated. And certainly Glenn Hodges, who likes to at least be on the attacking front foot. I mean, a good example of that recently was Rochdale, wasn't it? When we were 0-0, but even then, his substitutions were attacking ones in the closing stages. And who knows? As we speak, he's maybe plotting Arsenal's potential downfall with 1 or 2 shuffles of the yellow and blue pack.
Ryan Longman is imminent here. Getting changed very quickly.
So a shot comes in now from about 25 yards out from Miguel Aziz, and certainly plenty of power straight down the centre of the goal, but thankfully for the Dons, so too was Nick Tanev making another straightforward catch. Now rolls the ball outside of the penalty area to launch the ball outfield. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Still the Dons 0, Arsenal 0. Goal kick from free kick rather from Tanev was the head of Palmer, but it's going to be cleared away from this near side by Lopez for Arsenal, cleared down the line. towards Moller, but it's Callum Bailly who gets there first. And sure enough, here indeed is the long man himself.
So coming off. Game time for him this evening. Be keen to make an impression here now. See if we can break the deadlock in this time.
Past his land this season as well, of course. So he'll certainly relish the opportunity of taking on this centre half duo for Arsenal. Sure enough, here is Sokratis now holding off for Palmer inside his own half. Palmer will not be denied. He pursues Olivioso over to the far side and forces the Arsenal youngster into conceding a throw. So good play there from Palmer. Very taken down the line towards Longman. Ultimately, though, he deflects the ball behind for a goal kick to Arsenal. But Longman certainly wasting no time in getting in amongst the opposition. In fact, he might have a chance now. There's a well-won chance here. Oh, it is indeed. Ryan Longman, and within about a minute of coming on, he's given the Dons the lead. Well, brilliant play there from Ollie Palmer, intercepting and really harassing that Arsenal defence, giving the ball away. It broke perfectly for Longman, edge of the penalty area, or drilled into the bottom right-hand corner. I think Hein got a not inconsiderable amount on that one. Certainly got hands to it, but such was the velocity and accuracy that he couldn't keep it out of the net. And well, midway inside the second half, it's Wimbledon 1, Arsenal 0. Well, talk about a super sub. Ryan Longman not just come on and ruffled a few feathers. He's come on and given the Dons certainly a very, very valuable lead indeed. Well, Arsenal, they're going to build up to that. Have had a player sustain an injury who's still receiving treatment, so still waiting a kick-off. But, well, there's no questioning there the finishing credentials of Ryan Longman. And again, just continuing that kind of real harassing and haranguing there we saw from Lee Palmer a few moments previously, having forced Ryan Olivioso into conceding a throw-in. And then Arsenal maybe a little bit negligent, maybe a little bit too over nonchalant across their backline. It was a wayward pass, and I think Palmer spotted the opportunity to intercept. And it ricocheted perfectly for Longman, edge of the penalty area, right-hand corner of the net. And the Dons are 1 up. The Arsenal player who's down is now back on his feet. I think it's number 61, Tim Akinola. I think may have been the man just dispossessed there by Palmer. So I think painful for him. He's back on his feet now. In fact, he's just been shown a yellow card, I think, by the referee. So, basis of that, he was playing an advantage there for the Dons to allow Longman to run on and score. But certainly, particularly in his last few moments for Tim Akinola, down injured, having received treatment, he's now being held back to this near touchline. Then gets the yellow card brandished by the referee. Once again, a good bit of defending as Arsenal tried to rectify the scorelines with Cottrell. Falls back towards halfway. Deflects out of play. Just burrowing to the Dons on this near side. Away there, but take the throw for the Dons, about 5 yards inside his own half. Sitting front now by a goal to nil. Leading towards the closing stages of this last 32 Papa John's Trophy tie. And Bondon takes up the running once again. Oscar, wait on to take the ball on. Oh, he's made it 2-0. Brilliant play from the Dons. Away there, will take the throw for the Dons, about 5 yards inside his own half. Sitting front now by a goal to nil. Leading towards the closing stages of this last 32 Papa John's Trophy tie. And Bondon takes up the running once again, moving towards centre field. On the outside of Oscar, wait on to take the ball on. Oh, he's made it 2-0. Brilliant play from the Dons. Ryan Longman, a goal and now an assist. Arsenal caught out of the back once again. Slips over towards our left-hand side. Oscar charging into the left-hand side of the area. Ultimately one-on-one with Carlisle. We will see on his particular team. Goal and an assist. And now it's the Arsenal youngsters who are looking down the barrel of a potential last 32 exit in this season's Papa John's Trophy.
You think we're going to make progress here now. Sells a free kick over on the far side. Joe Bigger about to be introduced as well. You'll fancy getting on the score sheet too. Wimbledon done very well in the first half. Seemed to contain Arsenal. Now with their 2-goal advantage, really fancy them to see this tie out, particularly absence of Martinelli was making an impression for Arsenal in the first half. Set piece opportunity now over on the far side. Bigger to make an entrance here as well. It's all looking very encouraging indeed for Wimbledon with about 15 minutes of regulation time left in this half. And 2 Arsenal 0. The Dons were certainly at very least holding their own rather than holding on in this particular match. Another free kick then is delivered from about 30 yards out from McLaughlin. It's wide to go to Arsenal, but all of a sudden, stroke of a tactical genius there from Cliff Hodges introducing Ryan Longman, who almost immediately opened the scoring. Now set up the second goal for an emphatic finish from Paul Ossu. And now maybe the Dons will try and look at stretch further in it because it's man himself, Joe Bigger, is coming on in favour of the placer of Ollie Palmer. So seat numbers 90 and 95 from Arsenal.
Indeed, so that's Brooke, Norton, Cuffy, and Joel of Idaho who's going to come on in that particular order. Southern well. Dons have finally running the wherewithal to break down and experience the Arsenal backline. And 2 goals conceded in a quick succession, and perhaps mirroring some of the defensive frailties at the moment that some of the Arsenal first team are exhibiting.
It's all good for Wimbledon squad though, particularly as I said with a couple of big games coming up inside the next week. Been really keen as well, I think, this sort of situation to keep this clean sheet here tonight. We've worked hard defensively. So now they've got themselves into a comfortable position by 2 goals here. Determined to see this tie through and progress to the last 16.
So there's 2 Arsenal substitutes then waiting to come on as Lopez in the meantime takes up the running for Arsenal. Angles is running from the left-hand side towards centre field, but again, who breaks down? Longman once again as well. Plays on the outside now for Cannon Bailly. Pick back through the gap once more for Longman now. He's Piggott. Control. Finds McLaughlin. Now 7. Put down the line for Callum Bailey. Doing very well indeed to keep possession, and Arsenal rushing back to close them down at every opportunity, doing extra well to keep possession, particularly given the somewhat limited spaces that they've put to work in the last few moments. Playing that switch over to the left hand side. It's Callum Riley. We're sort from halfway. Knocks it over to the near side. 7. We get on the end of this one up against Lopez. He didn't pass it to the right side of the penalty area for McLaughlin, but he was ultimately dispossessed by Cottrell and was then deemed to have fouled the Arsenal captain as he tried to get the ball back. But that indeed is Cottrell's last participation for this evening. He's now going to be substituted with Brooke Norton Cuffey on the double-barreled Arsenal man coming on. The closing at 12 minutes or so. And sure enough, clickety-click, the time is up for number 66, Miguel Aziz. And Joel Idaho is going to be coming on for that closing period for Arsenal. The total combined shirt numbers of that double substitution is 292. Which, of course, gives you a real flavour of the regular type of games we face against the Arsenal academy sides. Any of the young sides we've played in the last 4 years or so since they were admitted into this competition. Arsenal trying to get down the right hand side with Taylor Hart, but ultimately it's fouled Terrell Thomas there in his attempts to get on the end of that pass. So another free kick to the Dons then with coming for 11 minutes remaining then here at Plough Lane. Well, all of a sudden the Dons, those 2 quick fire goals. Ryan Longman, the executioner of the first one, the architect of the second. Paul Ossiu re-establishing his first team credentials with a really superbly drilled finish. It's occasion getting to one of the Arsenal players now is kick the ball away in the descent, and I think it's a sending off for Tim Akinola. Free kick awarded to the Dons. And at a moment of temper, and one he's instantly left to regret, kicking the ball away towards the near side. He'd already been booked in the build-up to the opening goal from Brian Longman, and now leaves the field almost as if to kind of epitomise the kind of general decline of Arsenal in this particular game as it's gone on in terms of all-round play and possession. Very few chances created. Dons then suddenly seizing the ascendancy to go 2-0 in front. And now they're a man on top as well. And Tim Akinola, no doubt to receive, dare say, fairly stern talking to from his bosses. Obviously, that kind of level of youth level, you want discipline to be a primary part of their education. But certainly, a moment where he saw red there on more ways than one.
Yeah, silly. Towards the end of the game, particularly on that's what we look at in terms of temperament. In terms of being a first team player and developing into men's football as well, I'm sure he'll learn from that. But decided 2-0 down, there's still time to get back into this game. Back a little bit costly, that is Arsenal reduced to 10 now.
Surely this makes Arsenal's task even harder for the remaining 9 minutes to try and make inroads into this 2-goal Wimbledon lead. As Joe Piggott now will go into the book for a foul on Catalin Sejan.
Well, yeah, get back to his name there as well. Joe Piggott, such a key player for Wimbledon, just making a late appearance in this game.
Indeed, especially when you weigh up the circumstances, Rob, isn't it? The fact that they've gone to 2-0 up, the play was going nowhere. There was no real need to make that challenge. So again, booking for Joe Biggett, and now Arsenal with a free kick. Well, pretty much on the centre spot taken by Sokratis. Against Sergio, that's Sokratis. Moves it forward, sent well there by Nightingale. No one there to challenge William Saliba. But now it doesn't work. See, real pressure on the St Etienne man. Ultimately, though, with the composure, the physicality to manoeuvre himself away from Longman and then play it across down to the path of Sokratis. Here goes Taylor Hart for Arsenal. Turns and plays it back now to Saliba. And it's Serjan. Just on the halfway line towards his near side, making his way towards centre field. Wants to clip it forward, but misplaces the pass that was intended for Idaho. Now the Arsenal substitute does mess it up at the end of the pass. Returned by Callum Bailey. Arsenal does still have it with Taylor Hart. Now Idaho towards centre field. It's said once again, it's a misplaced pass that we can Taylor Hart, but not to go over now with the London. Now Piggott. He's got to ahead of him. He's got Ossie once again making run into the left side of the box with Piggott. He'll break Ossie once again. But ultimately losing out on the challenge with Serjan. But it's the Arsenal man who deflects it away over on that far side for a throw-in to the Dons. And well, with coming up for 6.5 minutes remaining of the regulation time, and with the Dons 2-0 in advance, and also the Arsenal down to 10 men. Since the seconds tick on, this is an increasingly a done deal for the Dons. Done deal, very much so. A meal deal, in fact, here in the Papa John's Trophy. But Arsenal this evening constantly look as though they're going to exit the competition with a bit of a whimper. Certainly the first half was the greatest backdrop of their all-round play and possession. Very neat, intricate passing moves, and again, not just for show, but also with real purpose, and certainly some very presentable chances on the end of them. But now perhaps left to rue that profligacy in front of goal. Defending as well, the Dons at vital moments, a couple of saves as well from McTaggart. Preserve that clean sheet for the Dons, of course. But now, Brian Longman has come on and really made the difference as well. Suddenly, is caught by a late challenge to the man who took over the captain's armband for Arsenal from Cottrell. It's Joel Lopez. Yeah, and those two have been at it like a pair of strays throughout the evening, and I think now the Arsenal man is going to be shown the yellow card. Of course, there was that incident coming together between the two of them just before half time, and certainly felt we should have been awarded a free kick. He's got one now, and Joel Lopez sees yellow. And now needs Salah to take the resulting free kick for the Dons. 4.5 minutes remaining the regulation time. The Dons 2, Arsenal 0, and say as that foul was committed by Lopez as well. Certainly, it was a promising move to bring on Brian Longman. Certainly thought that he might mix things up in the final third and be able to maybe galvanise the Dons forward line, introduce some fresh thinking, some fresh ideas. But surely, in the short time scale, surely nobody would have expected both a goal and then an assist. And he's the man who, at the moment, as things stand, has single-handedly put the Dons' place in the last 16.
Well, they were going through a few things in the technical charts just before he came on. They saw an area that Brian Longman could really contribute to. He's adapted to men's football, senior football extremely well. It's another good bit of business that Wimbledon have done with this arrangement they've got with Brian. It's really good to see from Brian Longman as well. He's done a very good job indeed out there, and ship well with Joe Piggott. So it's coming off particularly well for him.
So Arsenal themselves would look to try and strike a leg across there, as thinking over the top of the Dons' defence. At least that was the intention. towards Joel at Idaho. It was very well warded off there. Good interception from Terrell Thomas, and then Salif able to do the rest. It's to find themselves caught offside. So free kick to Arsenal, midway inside their own half. Heading towards the final 3 minutes in the regulation time. Wimbledon 2, Arsenal 0. And, second time this season, as things stand, on the verge of overcoming yet another very promising academy side in this season's Papa John's Trophy. So to see out the last couple of minutes now, make sure there isn't a late door of opportunity left ajar for the Arsenal side. It's clipped forward again by Sokratis, but in the end goes way beyond Nicholas Moller. Is easily collected by Nick Salif. Social media front in Europe, we've been left to our own devices. Those of you listening anyway, greetings and salutations as we endure the third floor ice and cold conditions here at Plough Lane. But no doubt that, particularly since the introduction of Ryan Longman, it's been all good for the Dons. The goggles of our footballing hearts, and very nearly an opportunity then to move forward as Saliba now gets himself into a spot of honor and is foul on Chislett. It looks like Saliba had slipped on the turf, but the referee ruling that well, it's a second booking in fact for Saliba. So now Arsenal ending this evening as things stand with 9 men. Oh goodness me!
My frustration gets better every year.
Well, it'll be interesting to see that second yellow again. It didn't seem to be along the similar kind of lines to the one for Akinola, where it was quite a petulant and kicked the ball away and it's a real fit temper. It'll be interesting to see that challenge on Ethan Chislett, even if fractionally mistimed. Of course, that's reason enough for the referee to brandish the yellow card. But, well, Arsenal have really, really imploded here in this second half. And having at one point looked so reassured at the heart of that Arsenal defence alongside Sokratis. In the end, Saliba is sent to the stand for a second yellow card. Now, that surely is the final piece of anchovy in the Arsenal exit pizza from this season's Papa John's Trophy.
Yes, indeed. It's done extremely well in the second half here. Stepped up their game. I think these young Arsenal players as well, it's just been a little bit too much of them as well on the night. So we're about to see the overtime verdict tablet be held aloft.
About 15 seconds remaining then of the regulation time. We have a long spell when the Arsenal players was down injured, and that's pretty accurately reflected in the 4 additional minutes that we're going to see at the end of this particular cup tie.
These 9 Arsenal players to hold out, not concede a third.
Place to go. So to ward off the threat of Moller. First of all, into Arsenal territory, but how to play towards the West Stand here at Plough Lane. So throw in then to Arsenal. Certainly, no wonder how it's all gone so dramatically wrong for them this evening. But from a tactical and certainly towards the end from a disciplinary perspective, ultimately losing their heads, the Dons keeping theirs, benefiting from the inspirational introduction of Ryan Longman with that goal and that assist for Paul Ossiu. And then there's 2 dismissals for Arsenal on the strength of second bookings. So ultimately set the scene on an evening of misery down here at Plough Lane. And as we were talking about, the Dons keen to progress in this competition. Now look as though that is going to be fulfilled for them at the end of this particular encounter. As Idaho now plays the ball forward for Arsenal, but too far ahead of Keto Taylor Hart. Dogs can now come forward, maybe a bit of a late riposte. So good with Chisley. He turns it back there to Terrell Thomas. Plus now to Nightingale. It's Callum Bailly. 10 yards inside his own half. Forward now to 7. He tries to fight it down the right hand side, but too far in of the block. And it's a very to Arsenal. But how do you feel that Steve Seddon's done down the right hand side? Certainly it was maybe a bit of an eye opener, maybe for some of the fans listening and watching around the world, Rob. But he certainly had a good old tussle there with Lopez down that particular flank. And maybe another night he could have won even further break for the Dons.
Yes, he's been excellent condition since both spells were Wimbledon. Opportunity for Wimbledon now.
He's Chisley it's the penalty area. Oh, and it's 3-0 for the Dons. And from the edge of the 6-yard box, it's Joe Biggett who's rounded off the win for the Dons. Nice little passing move, it's threaded through. He got the better of Lopez, and then I think Morris struck the ball through the legs of Carl Hine. And well, in the 3rd minute of the 4 additional ones announced for stoppages, it really is now turning into something of a rout for the Dons, and credit to them. Certainly bided their time. They with plenty of Arsenal domination in that first half. Not that much by way of opportunities for them in the first half. Even up to the introduction of Ryan Longman. Again, minimal pickings for them. No, they're still enjoying a fair deal of possession, but not really able to make that real critical incision into the Arsenal defence. But then Ryan Longman has changed all that. The goal and the assist, and now Joe Piggott as well, another substitute getting in on the 8, has turned this into a very, very profitable night indeed for the Dons. And, well, as we move towards the end of the 4 additional minutes, it's now Wimbledon 3, Arsenal now. And Joe Piggott, well, I think that's his 6th goal already here at Plough Lane for the Dons. And sure enough, that's it. It sets the scene a wonderful victory in the end for Wimbledon. 3-0 here. All the goals in the second half. Because Arsenal were particularly in the wake of the admittedly planned and intended half-time withdrawal of Gabriel Martinelli. Ultimately found themselves running more and more into a yellow and blue cul-de-sac. Their attacking aspirations. And then Ryan Longman sent on sensing blood, sent on with nefarious intent by Glenn Hodges to try and maybe make the evening a little bit less smooth for Messrs. Sokratis and Saliba and Co. Ultimately achieved that aim. Fine shot from the edge of the box. Then the assist a few moments later for Paul Ossie, an emphatic finish. And then Arsenal, having then seen 2 of their players dismissed, Saliba, and then Akinola was first, Saliba was second, all threaded through the depleted Arsenal defensive ranks, and Joe Piggott for the 6th time here at Plough Lane already in the space of just over a month. It's his snout straight into a massive trough of pizza, and has come away with his almost customary goal now for the Dons. And it's they who march into the last 16 of the Papa John's Trophy. Victors here over Arsenal, would you believe it, by 3-0.
The pleased with that performance tonight, not that you can gain from it.